Good morning. Good morning. So it's Monday, July, what is it? July 26th today. And this is my Monday live. And this, I have to tell you that I will be away on vacation starting next Monday. So probably for at least 1 week, possibly 2 weeks, I will not be doing another Monday live. And I apologize because my dog is barking randomly. She is unfortunately deaf. And sorry, I'm just gonna pick her up if she continues to bark. And so she just weirdly starts barking for nothing. But anyway, hello, Debbie. Hello, people are coming on. Please say hello to me. Put your names in the chat, or allow StreamYard to use your profile for Facebook, and then I will be able to see your names. So as I was saying, I will not be doing a live next week. So Debbie, please remember that I will be on the road traveling to New Brunswick, and maybe the week after. I will probably not do it on a Monday, but I might do it later on in the week. We'll see how that goes. And for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Svieta Melchek. I am located in Montreal, Canada. Well, hello, Sharon. This is certainly very early for you because Sharon is on the West Coast in Seattle. So that's very early for you. Thank you for being here. So I am Svieta. I'm in Montreal, and I have been a professional home stager and decorator and Airbnb decorator for the last 15 years. I also do property flips with my husband, and we've done about 12 so far, I believe. And so I run this group, and I help my main focus and my main area of expertise is to coach home sellers and show home sellers of lived-in homes, particularly the homes that may be a little older, like 20 plus, that need few updates. I really specialize in how to get you the most money possible out of your sale by actually doing some things which would be cost effective as much as possible and time effective as well, but would still allow you to get the top dollar out of your sale. If you're not selling your home, but you have some project, which I call staging to live. Hello, Elizabeth. Nice to see you. Then I can help you as well, because again, what I do is I look with different eyes on your property, obviously, and I sometimes see things that you don't want to see or that you cannot see, and I help you decide, make decisions on what works best for you within your budget, within your time, and how to create a space that you really love. And honestly, I find it very, very difficult when we work on our own home. Like, I have no problem coming to somebody else's house or looking at somebody else's house and telling them, and I see exactly what it should look like. So I know how to visualize things, and I know how to tell people how to create that vision. But when it comes to our own home, even my own home, I always have a lot more difficulties. So somebody saying they can only stay 10 minutes. Yes, don't worry. Don't worry. It is available on replay. So it's going to be in the announcements, the recording of this, and it's going to stay there the whole week. So, and I'll be tagging people. Just go to the announcement and you will be able to see the replay. So I want to know who you are. I want to know why you want to see this one particularly, which seems to be popular. We have a lot of people coming on, which is amazing. I thought I might be talking all to myself today. So there's a lot of things that's been happening in the last couple of weeks, so let's get on directly to it. So I've been doing actually quite a few online coaching or online staging consultations for lived-in homes. I work with a few realtors in different areas. So hi Lindsay. Yeah, StreamYard must have lost your permission, because sometimes every month or so I have to like restart StreamYard. I don't know, some weird things are happening with Facebook and StreamYard. Facebook is not working very well for people like me. it's basically suppressing whatever posts I put. So that's why I keep asking people to engage and comment, and even provide your own posts if you want. You're always welcome, because it's becoming more and more difficult for you guys to see whatever I'm posting in the group, and it's just we're fighting against the Facebook algorithm all the time. So it's kind of depressing, to be honest. It's really, really hard with all the amount of effort that we put in and the things that I want to share with you, things I can help you with. And then when I know that practically nobody actually sees it. But anyway, that's not what I was going to talk about today. So today I'm going to show you a case study. There were a few things that happened and I did several homes in different conditions with, as I was saying in one of my posts recently, is that everybody's got their own situation. Everybody's got their own challenges. Everybody's got their own budget constraints or time constraints or both. And so I don't want you to think that you have to have a lot of money or a lot of time, or that I'm going to be asking you to do an absolutely perfect staging. And what I'm going to show you today is actually a completely imperfect staging. And the reason why, so I've done a few, I think I've done like at least one or two every week. And so some of them were immediate, some of them were for a little bit later on. So some people are very reluctant, I must say, because it was the realtor who brought me in. And some people are very willing because they do understand the importance. So before I go on, let me just talk about the market just for a second. So we all know that the market's been crazy, that everything's been selling really, really fast. And then some people think that, oh, well, I can just sell my house. I don't need to do any staging. And I'm going to address it as an objection, just in a minute. But the interesting thing also, that because I work with several realtors in different areas of the country, and I should say countries because it's Canada and the USA, things are happening. So there could be a summer slowdown. That's one of the things that is quite possible, and that kind of happens because people are on vacation, their kids are off school, and so they kind of think about other things. But there also seems to be that there's certain areas where there's the normal balance is coming back. So which means that the market is becoming more balanced, which is not necessarily bad, but of course for the sellers it's a little bit more difficult because people are migrating. This is what I've been understanding, and it's not an official market prediction, but it's more of the feedback that I've been getting from realtors, is that there's a lot of activity still very, very hot in some key spots. People are moving to North Carolina, South Carolina, Arizona, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, all the southern states. But anything that's northeast, northwest, and central United States and central Canada seems to be slowing down a little bit. So I'm still looking to see what's going to be happening in Montreal. It's interesting. I still do a lot. I'm being asked to do quite a few stagings locally, which means that there's still interest and people still think that it is important to present the properties in the best possible way. But I'm going to soon start looking for maybe another property to flip. My husband doesn't know that yet. And so I will get a better idea of what's happening right here. So the three really key takeaways that I want for you to understand is that, of course, I believe, and more than believe, I know that even if you do a very minimal staging, or which is not necessarily perfect, and I will be showing you that particular house that kind of made me click and think that I really need to show you the results. And I'm going to reveal the secret. That house got an offer within 3 days, and it's really not perfect. So we're going to have a look at that. But above anything else, as I was talking to Sharon, actually Sharon is one of the people who also made me understand that it was important that I bring it to everybody, because I had a discussion with her. And what I was saying is that whatever decision you end up making, at least it has to be an informed decision. And everyone makes a decision based on your own life situation. So some people might have health issues, or some people might have other things preventing them from actually, doing the staging. But I would, of course, preach that if you can, whatever you can, even if it's not a lot, it's better than nothing. So, because at the end of the day, it's really the first impression that counts, and people like turnkey solutions, unless they're looking for bargains. Like I look for bargains when we want to flip a house. Of course, I'm looking for a bargain. So the worse the house looks, the better it is for me. But as a seller, you want to go in the opposite direction, and you want to present your house in the best possible way. So that's my point, is that listen to me, absorb what I have to say, think about it, talk to your other family members, and then make an informed decision. And there are several options that you have. So I'm going to go through those options, and then, you can ask me questions, of course. So let's say you don't want to do anything, or you think that it might not be necessary to do anything. So first of all, might not be necessary to do anything, I beg to differ. I have very rarely in my 15 years of experience seen a house that doesn't need anything and that is in a perfect condition for sale. I have seen them, but very, very rarely. So again, if you decide not to do anything and put it on the market as is, it's your choice. But please know that you are definitely leaving money on the table. How much? Nobody knows. Maybe it's 10,000 or maybe it's 100,000. But literally, you will be foregoing a certain amount of money, and it's probably in the thousands of dollars for sure, just because you did not do anything to the house. And recently I've seen a listing from someone, and it's actually a person in this group, and my heart aches because I can see that there were so many little things that could have been done to make this house look so much better. And I'm hoping and I'm wishing that she's still going to sell it, and she's going to sell it fast, that she's going to sell it well. But I can see I just want to go back and, just tell her, listen, Nick, we need to do these little things. It's not much. It's a couple of days of your time, but it would just make such an incredible difference in the look and therefore the end price. But I can't do this, obviously, unless the person is willing to listen to my advice and get it done. So if you're going to sell it as is, or if it's something that you're actually thinking about, which I don't think you should be thinking about it, but if you're thinking about it, then as I was telling Sharon, there's a couple of options. There's the company's called iBuyers. I don't think it exists in Canada yet. Maybe it's going to come. There's Zillow and Redfin and Open Door, and basically they give you a cash offer based on the condition of your house, the location, what they see, and you don't have to do anything. So you don't have to hire a realtor, you don't have to hire a stager, you don't have to do anything. You're just going to get a cash offer with some conditions. Of course, you're going to pay some percentages, some for the fees. There's a lot of fees. I'm not an expert on iBuyers, to be honest, so I don't know exactly how they work, but I've talked to a couple of people. And at the end of the day, we all know that you're going to get a low offer. Why? Because these companies are not stupid. They're taking a risk of buying your house as is. They don't know what the problems might be. They do send you somebody to inspect the house if they're interested. But at the end of the day, they want to make profits. So they're going to give you a low offer. They're going to get your house. They're going to fix it up probably a little bit. And they're going to put it back on the market. And they're going to make a hefty profit. So it is an option for you, which I don't think it's a good option. But some people, might decide that that's what you want to do. You can also hire a realtor, of course, or sell it yourself. Go onto one of those for sale by owner website. And again, you can just put it up with the pictures the way it is. You don't necessarily need to update the house or make it look good. Again, it's an option that you have, but I don't think it's a good option. I hope you're not going to choose that option. And it's just going to, attract fewer buyers to your house because people respond emotionally to what they see. So a house that looks attractive, clean, well kept, well maintained, cute, people are flocking to it because they imagine in their minds that this is going to be their house and that's they want it to look the same way. But and honestly, nobody likes seeing other people's junk. Like, it's very, very psychological because, for example, we all have shoes, right? And we all probably, most people, I don't, but most people probably keep, several pairs of shoes somewhere visible at the entrance just for practical reasons. But nobody wants to see other people's shoes because right away you start thinking, oh, they're stinky, they're old, like it's just not appealing at all. The same thing. Another example is bathroom stuff, right? We all have a toothbrush. We all, have floss, I hope. We all have whatever creams and stuff. But people don't want to see your stuff because they want to imagine themselves living. They want to see this pristine, beautiful, sexy bathroom that looks like it's straight out of the hotel. That's what they want to see. And this is what you're supposed to give them if you want to get top dollar for your house. So, if you sell it as is, just, think about those, the potential money that you are going to be losing. And Cindy says, I don't want to see other people's personal stuff either. Yeah, exactly. We have this weird reaction. It's like seeing somebody else's hair, right, on the floor. Like, isn't that gross? Like my hair, I don't like to see my own hair. So somewhere on the floor or in that, I certainly don't want to see other people's. So your other option, and that's one extreme, it's not doing anything, putting the house on the market as is. The other extreme is, of course, going full blast and hiring a stager. And I'm not going to lie, and in most areas where you live, you probably do have stagers available galore, and probably your realtor, if you choose a realtor, will be can send you somebody to your house. Usually, I want you to understand, if a realtor sends you a stager, they usually pay very little for that service, probably between $100 and $150. The stager is going to come to your house usually for about 1 hour, maybe a little longer. The stager will be very superficial because it's lack of time. They are not getting paid much. And another potential reason is that they might want to sell you a bigger package because honestly, if a stager makes $100 going to people's houses, you know how many of those $100 gigs you have to get in a week to make a living, right? So the idea is, and that's kind of really something that bothers me because people don't understand it. They say, oh, I'm just going to, my realtor's taking care of it. They're sending me a stager and the stager's going to tell me what to do. Yes, true, but you're getting a very, very superficial, quick layer, which is, of course, better than nothing. But again, you're not going to go in depth. They're not going to talk about the paint, or they're not going to talk about the updates, or they're not going to tell you exactly how to change your furniture around. They're just going to kind of walk around quickly, just give you a few pointers. And the other thing is that once the stager came in and went, you are left on your own again to try to figure things out because they're not paid to answer your questions or provide you the support through the process while you're actually working through your house, if that's what you decide to do. And if you want that support, then of course you're going to have to pay more. So that's my comments, which are very important, I think, for you to understand the kind of service that you would be getting if you have a realtor send you a stager. Now, you can hire a stager, you can hire somebody from a staging company. The costs vary a lot from state to state, from city to city, depending on the competition, depending on what the prices are. Like in California, it would be very expensive. You would probably pay easily over $1,000 a day. Somewhere else in Kentucky, you might pay $500 a day. But you still, if you have somebody coming in your house, you're looking at easily $1,000 and more just for the service. Plus, it's kind of invasive. You have a person in your house, and then they tend to they honestly tend to get rid of more, or ask you to get rid of most of the stuff you have, because it's much easier for a stager to work with a blank slate. So they tell you, oh, your dining room set is not really nice, or your living room couch is not really nice. Why don't we get rid of it, put it in storage, and then I'll bring in a rented one? Well, yeah, it's easier for them. It also makes them more money, right? Because when we rent furniture, and I do that for my clients as well for vacant condos, then it makes us more money. So as an aside, I just want to explain, for example, a different situation where I am giving different options to my current clients. So their situation is that they have a very high-end condo in downtown Montreal in a very exclusive building. It's going to be listed for over $1 million. It's a 2-bedroom unit, which doesn't even have a balcony. And right now they don't live there anymore. They live actually in Vermont. But somebody, a family member, lives in that unit with it's a couple, his and her furniture. Now, the couple's furniture, the way they live, does not correspond to what $1 million condo should look like. And we all agree. So the options that I gave this client, and it's really his choice, is that I can help his family members stage the unit with the stuff that they've got. And it's never going to look amazing, because if they cannot move the stuff that they have, they're not willing to move the stuff out, then it is what it is. So I can make it look a little better, but if it's not going to be to their standard, to their liking of the client, it's the best I can do. The other option, which they're considering right now, well, actually, they kind of already, last night, they sent me an email and they said that's the option they're going to go with, is to have their family members move out completely within the next 2 weeks with all of their stuff, which is a possibility for them. That's what they agreed on. And then I'm going to rent all brand new furniture, and I'm going to bring in all the furniture, all the accessories, and we're going to stage it around mid-August with all the rented furniture. But these people can do this. Their situation allows them to do that. They have the funds to do it, and they've agreed with their family members. So in their situation, it's going to work. But in a lot of other people's situation, it might not just be a possibility to replace all of your furniture. And maybe you're still living in your house, and so you cannot, just replace all the area rugs and all of the furniture and stuff. So you could hire a stager, but the costs are going to be probably, quite high depending on your situation. And the third option, which is kind of where I come in, which is kind of a unique option, to be honest, there's not a lot of people who do what I do, is you do your own staging, but sometimes the realtor can help with my coaching, but I do the consultation, the coaching, and guiding you through the process, so you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel alone, and you actually know what you're doing. And I always try to respect your time frame and your budget as much as possible, and you'll always get a straight answer from me of what I think. Now, I don't have a magic wand. Like, I don't necessarily either have like 100% certainty, but with my experience, I'm pretty good at knowing, where the priorities are and what should be done and what we could put on the back burner and not necessarily get done. So if somebody tells me, well, I only have $2,000 that I can afford to invest into the staging of my house, I'm going to help them decide where that money should be invested. So that's quite a unique option, because it's really a layer in between of not doing anything and going all out and hiring a stager and potentially spending several $1,000s on a fully staged home, which is beautiful, but not everybody is able to do that. And I'm in between, where I'm like an IKEA. I kind of say, I'm an IKEA of home staging, because I want everybody to do something, and you can do as much of it as you can yourself, but you have me to rely on to guide you. So that's what I wanted to tell you. And I haven't even, I'm going to be actually making you an offer today. I'm going to say it right now, is that I have a course, which not a lot of, well, some people know, some people buy it. Occasionally I put my course on sale. I don't promote it so much. I don't know why, but I do have a full, complete course online, self-paced. It's about 2 hours, and it teaches you everything you pretty much need to know about staging. And I usually sell it for $149, but I just decided, because I was looking for some, call to action for this live today. So I decided that I haven't put it up for sale. I haven't offered it in a long time. So I'm going to give you guys an amazing deal for this week only. Instead of $149, I'm going to put it up for sale for $47. So if anybody wants to just have like the cheap bottom line option, just buy my course for $47. Cannot get better than that, right? I mean, for $47 and a little bit of effort, you might make $10, $20, $30, $50,000 more in your house. So I think it's a pretty good return. So that's what I wanted to tell you. So if you do want my course, just ask me, send me a DM, put a comment. I'll send you the link. I'll promote it in the group as well, but I'll send you the link to the sales page and the payment option. So this week only, it will be $47 instead of $149. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to ask you, okay, why, this is something that's really boggling to me, mind-boggling, is why wouldn't you want to do some preparation and staging? And I always say preparation and staging because, again, I believe that just fluffing some stuff around, it's not enough, that you actually need to go a little bit deeper if you want to get the top dollar. And you need to think about the global, what people see when they walk in. Sharon is saying that's amazing. Are you referring to my $47 offer? Yeah, I know. But anyway, it's summer and I'm going on vacation next week, and I figured, if people want it, then it's okay. But for you, Sharon, if we're going to be talking some more, it's going to be included in whatever package you decide on. So we can talk about that. So what's stopping you is usually people have like typical objections. One of them is, I don't need it. And that one is, I don't buy. I just don't think it's true. So like I said before, pretty much everybody I know does need staging, and I will be showing you this house very, very soon. And so if you don't think you need it, it's because you're not looking at your house the way it should be looked at. So let's just get rid of that right away. I don't need it. Maybe one out of, I don't know, 100, 200 houses doesn't actually need staging. Maybe one out of 500 actually. So everybody needs it to some extent. Okay, so that's it. Now, I don't have time. That could be, everybody's got a little bit of time, I hope. So if you can do something over the next 3 months, if you can do something over the next month, you can certainly put a push and do it over the next 2 or 3 days at least. So I've had clients literally who found a house of their dream and made an offer, and they were not planning to sell their house so fast, made an offer, got accepted, and literally had to put their house on the market within 1 weekend because they needed the money from their house to buy the house of their dreams. And they did amazing work. I worked with them. I helped them to decide what they needed to get done. They put a lot of work in over a weekend. They worked really, really hard, but it was crazy the difference that it made in 1 weekend. And it was a few months ago. I don't really remember exactly, but I know I think they got $10,000 or $20,000 over asking price, and literally their house sold on the first open, what is it called? Open doors. No, the visits, the first visit. So no time, we can squeeze the time. We have to squeeze the time somehow. And no money. That's something that comes back over and over and over again because people don't understand or don't necessarily want to invest some money to make more money. And that one is a hard one because I really believe that the open house, exactly, Sharon, that's what I wanted to say, open house, yeah. I kept coming back to me in French for some reason. But so no money. I think there's always a way to find a little bit of money. and the return is so great that even if you put $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 in, but you make 10, 20, 50, $100,000 more, right? I don't know how much, because obviously each situation is different, but I think it's really worth it. Now, where do you find that money? It can be discussed depending on the amount. It can be, personal credit line. It could be, sometimes there are real estate companies which actually advance loans to clients, of course, and at a small interest, and then they take the amount of that loan at the sale time. So there are always ways to find a little bit of money. I wish I could help my clients finance it, but I haven't been able to do that yet. So I think that whatever you decide to do, it's very important that you consider all of your options and that you decide for at least some staging. And then one last point I wanted to make before I show you that case study is what about the perfect staging? And that was a question I asked in the Facebook group, and the answers were very interesting. They were divided about half-half, because I asked whether it was really important to aim for a perfect staging. Now, of course, I want perfect staging. Of course, I want your houses to look amazing, like picture perfect, right? But I also realized that it's not a possibility for everybody, and it also depends on your time, on your money, on a lot of different factors. So my specialty really is working with what you guys got and maybe enhancing it with what you have. But sometimes I really don't have much to work with, and that's exactly what I show you with. And what I want to tell you is that this house, in spite of everything, had an offer from the first person who came in and is under contract currently within 3 days of being on the market, okay? And they got pretty much the price that they wanted. So the story of this house, it's in Illinois, that's all I'm gonna say. And they put it on the market, I believe, a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they had a stager, and it was very difficult for me to obtain the before pictures, and the realtor really helped me on that. And so I don't necessarily have all of the pictures, but I think you'll get a good idea. And from what she told me is that they were told to completely depersonalize the house, to take everything out. Anyway, this was the result. This is what you can see. And the house didn't sell. So they kind of took it off the market, and there was the pandemic. A lot of things happened. They were waiting for their kids to decide where their kids wanted to live, because they want to move closer to their kids. And finally, now they decided to give it another try. And so they hired the realtor, and she paid for the consultation with me. So I was online on Zoom with them, and we went through the whole house, and I gave suggestions. I saw that the lady was kind of reluctant. The husband was more willing, but I think the woman was kind of burned by their previous experience. And so it made it a little harder, but the agent is amazing, and she took it upon herself to help them to implement my suggestions. She even went out, she bought a couple of pieces of artwork, she bought some cushions, she bought some bedding, she went back, she rearranged the furniture based on my advice, and then she listed it. And all that happened literally within 48 to 72 hours, because the house was listed. I think we had a consultation on Tuesday morning, and I believe the house was listed on Thursday night or Friday, and it sold on the weekend. Okay, so this is master bedroom, the way it was before, and this is the way we staged it today. Now, let's say this is not perfect, right? Remember, like I said, this is not perfect. For example, the artwork, which the realtor purchased, she consulted with me, I approved it, is placed too high. It's just way too high on the ceiling. It doesn't look the way it should look, but this is what it is. This is what they did. And I think the overall look, if you go from here to here, okay, and please put your comments in because I'm going to be seeing in them, you can see that it makes quite a big difference, right? So just keep commenting. And Debbie said, what a difference. The staging looks amazing. Okay, let's look at another bedroom. So this was another bedroom that they had. Again, this is an old picture that we were able to obtain from the previous listing that was before. And this exactly the same furniture. Everything is exactly the same. This is what it looks like now. So in reality, again, I could criticize that and I could tell you everything that I don't like about this, everything that's missing. We could put extra artwork, we could put a lot of extra things, but the clients were just not really willing to invest a lot. So we added some cushions, we added a throw, and then I had them transfer this desk and a chair, which was in another bedroom. It was very messy. The gentleman was using it as his office, but it was just, everything was combined. It was a bedroom, it was an office, and it was just not tidy at all. So at least I got them to do that. So he cleaned out his office, and I told them to bring this desk and the chair, that it would make a lot more sense in this bedroom than the other smaller bedroom, okay? So keep the second photo has a much lighter feel and looks like a bigger space. Exactly. And it's exactly, you can see that it's even the same bed, right? Like we literally, well, hold on here, just here. Like literally, we haven't done anything and nothing much, right? So then this is the third bedroom. This is the one that had the desk that he was using. As you can see it right here. Okay, this is how the bedroom was set up. Somebody didn't even open the window blinds, the horizontals, and obviously there's no curtains, but they were not willing to do that. So I just had, this is what I call the extreme case of having very little to work with. And, this is where I have to try to perform a miracle. So, because sometimes I don't get much from clients, and this is what we ended up with. So they did agree to put the curtains up. I think, again, the agent, the realtor really was very helpful. We rearranged this furniture. We brought even the mirror. I found this mirror, I believe, somewhere else in the house, and I told them to set it up like that. And just the new bed covers and the way we reposition the furniture, it makes the room look a lot bigger, and it makes a lot more sense, right? Don't you agree that that's like, makes a lot more sense to have your bedroom this way than looking like that? So pretty much that's all that was done. Okay, now I had a lot of trouble getting photos from the living room. So this house has a den. So this is actually a family room, the way it was before on the previous listing photo. And because they didn't really have any appropriate furniture, as you can tell, all of their furniture is really not fantastic. In this case, what the agent did, which is not something that I necessarily like to do, but sometimes I understand the reasons why she did it, she had this room virtually staged. So I just put it there for you as an option, so you're aware that in the worst possible circumstances, this is something that can be done. So if you go from this, and you can see that it's exactly the same room, and they even, obviously the room was empty, there were curtains there, and this is not real furniture. This is virtually staged. I did not do it. To my taste, it's not what I would have done. I find that it's very busy, but it still shows the room much nicer than before, okay? If the client was not willing to do anything. Now, this is the room where we had the most problems, and hopefully the agent is supposed to send me the after pictures of what she took. This is very far from perfect. It's really not to my perfect liking, but this was the situation that we had to deal with, and so we dealt with it. So this is the before picture. The issue here is that this is their main living room. So the entrance to the house and the little steps, it's like a split level. So the entrance is at the bottom of those stairs, and you have open railing. So when people walk up, and they look to their left, the first room that they see is this room. And this room really does nothing. Like there's a TV, a big unit TV unit, there is very old couch, and here in the corner, there is a big blue rocking chair, and that's pretty much it. So we couldn't really do much with it. So this is kind of just a representation. I had them move the couch forward because if you look here, it doesn't even look like a proper living room. There's way too much space here in the middle. It doesn't look friendly. The couch is stuck right against that railing. So the minimum that I could convince them to do was to move the same couch forward, and then move the coffee table forward, position the chair a little differently, and kind of create a little bit more of a user-friendly space. And then this again, you know, just to show people the possibility, the realtor had a virtual staging done on this room as well. So they moved the furniture out, they took a picture of an empty room, and this is the rendition of a virtual staging, you know, just to show people what it could actually look like, this room. Now, I do hope, let me just stop sharing here so I can see your comments here. So this is what I wanted to show you. The reason why I wanted to show you is because I want to show you the fact that it doesn't always it's not always perfect, and a lot of things that we worked with whatever was available. And this is what I want you to remember and really take from this particular session, which is almost done, is that don't be scared, don't be afraid, don't think that it's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Of course, you know, the more money you invest, the better the result is going to be at the end, the more money you're going to make. But the important thing is that you look at all your options and that you choose the option that you're comfortable with and that allows for your budget and your time frame. And please do not listen to your realtors who are going to push you and who are going to tell you to just list it as is, and that's going to sell, and you don't need to stage, and you know everything sells right now. Yes, it's true, but remember that the realtors are commission sales people, and for them what they want is your signature on the listing contract, because once you do that, no matter what, it's guaranteed that they're going to get their very nice juicy commission. And even if you make $20,000, $30,000 or $50,000 less on your house, at the end of the day, for them it's a very, very little difference in their pocket. So get a second opinion, you know, hire a stager, pay for my consultation. We're only talking about a couple of $100. It's not a huge amount, because it's definitely, absolutely is going to be worth 10 times, 20 times, 100 times more in your pocket. So if you have, and the conclusion is basically do a little if you can't do a lot. Okay, whatever you do is better than doing nothing. And of course, if you have somebody, you know, who guides you and who helps you to make the right decisions, then it's even better. So I am going to put a link. I'm going to change the price on my course, and I'm going to create a coupon that will allow you to buy it for $47. I will advertise it a couple of times this week in the Facebook group. If it's something that you're interested in, just buying the course without, you know, talking to me, that's the cheapest solution you can get for $47. Or if you want that plus, you know, my time, we can discuss that as well, where I'll actually, that course could be like a little preparation for you, and then we can get into the actual staging more deeply together, where I'll guide you through the things that are right for you. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments or DM me. I try to answer every question I get. And that's it for today. Again, I went for 45 minutes. I always try to keep it at 30 minutes. Somehow it doesn't work. I always think that I don't have enough things to say. Thank you very much, ladies, for being here. Thank you very much for being supportive. Sharon, anytime you're ready, we can talk again. I know you're meeting with the realtors, so before or after, whenever you want. And thank you for being here so early for you. And have an amazing rest of the day. I'll see you soon. Bye.